run into these few things from time to time, but I feel like the more you try to fine-tune your presentation, the more these will creep up at you. So I just want to share these real quick. The first one is entitlement. I did A, therefore B should happen. I did what Joe said, or I did what Ziegler said, or I did what one of the sales coaches said. It went perfect. They didn't buy. That's okay, what happened? You've got to guard against that. And I'm going to go back to the question that I asked originally of what is your main goal on each call? If it's just to sell, to get someone started on the plan, I think you're going to be frustrated a lot. Honestly, I do. So I've had to tweak my goal on each call because we don't just get people that want to buy the plan. We get members, we get dental offices, we get random people trying to pay their electric bill, we get all types of people that called in. And we use this word a lot in the office, and I'm going to use it. I want to be helpful to the person that's on the phone. I want to be helpful. What does that even mean? Dictionary entry, if my Kindle will turn on here. Okay. This is from the Oxford American Dictionary, or Oxford Dictionary of English. Helpful is giving or ready to give help. It's pretty explanatory. Another description of helpful, and I like this, it's useful. I want the person, when they get off the call with me, even if it was the wrong number, or they're angry at us for heaven knows what, I want them to get off the call and to say, that was useful. Me talking to that individual was useful for my time. Now, I might not have met their need, but the way in which I conducted myself on the call was useful to them. That's got to be the goal. I think that's how you fight the entitlement mentality. I think that's how you fight fairness. Well, I'm doing the same thing Brian is. I'm doing the same thing Jeff is. I'm doing the same thing Tyler is. And they're selling, but I'm not. That's not fair. Or I did all this work with this person. I called them 3 times in an hour. And then they called in when I was on another call and they signed up with so-and-so. That's not fair. Again, it goes back to what is your goal? And it's really easy, guys. It's really easy to get into that isolated, cubicle, it's just me mentality. But if you're stepping back and you're saying, I want to be helpful, I want to be useful for our team and for our company as a whole, I think it's going to be a lot easier to fight that thought or that feeling when that comes, that urge to react to entitlement, to fairness when those things come. And the last one, this is just a general thing that happens probably on a daily basis, frustration. I said this earlier, this approach is not a fix-it-all. It's not going to sell 100% of the time. I feel like it's helped me. I feel like I've just taken different things from different people in different ways, and it's been good. I still get frustrated. But again, if I'm just trying to be helpful to people, and I can say that at the end of the day, any sale that comes is just a blessing. And in all honesty, I wish I just would have spent the whole time talking about this. I'm not selling the plan. The product is selling itself because it's so good. What I feel like I'm doing is when people call, I'm helping to explain what's already there in front of them and communicate that in a way that they understand it. I'm being useful to them in clarifying questions they have, doubts they have, things that don't make sense. I don't feel like I'm selling. I feel like I'm an intermediate, whatever you want to say, of presenting things that are already there, and then they're making the decision to buy. That's how I see that. So the goal is to be helpful, not sell. Yeah, we want to sell, obviously. If we don't sell, we're going to be in trouble. But I want to be helpful, and if sales come out of that, which they do, and I think they are, and I think they will continue to do so, that's my job. So I do want to open it for any general questions. That's really all I have as far as specifics of what I wanted to share about sales and me and how I'm trying to do things on the phone. You can ask any question at all. If I don't know, I will refer you to Jeff Gould.
What do you think is most important to people when they call? What's the main thing that you're looking for? Or is it too varied?
Aaron, I feel like, my mind automatically goes to it's varied, but I think that's just because of the way that I think. I think generally, and I've realized this more, I think, over the last month or so, when people call, even those who want to buy right out of the gate, there's still this hesitation of, man, is this really going to be worth it? It's that question of, that my fear of loss is greater than what I'm going to gain out of this. So I'm hesitant. So I think people really want to know that this plan is going to be beneficial for them. I think you can start there on a general level and then give the specifics. That's what you've got to do. And so I think that's why I say the same things 3 or 4 times, because at first it's just general. It's, here's the plan, this is what it will do for you, and then kind of how they respond to that, I'll emphasize one aspect of that and then go back to all of them again and just continue to emphasize all of those things until they really understand this is a good idea. It would be bad for me to not buy this. Bad decision. So that's just, from where I'm at right now, I think generally that's what they're looking for. And we have a product that does that meets that need, which is great.
How about at the beginning, when they call in, what are some questions you ask to kind of figure out where the type of people they are?
Yeah.
When they first call.
Yeah, Kurt. No, that's a good question. It really depends on how they respond or how they open the conversation. I kind of let them do that because they're the ones that called me, right? So if they call, and this is one that I've kind of struggled with over the last couple of weeks, they call and they give that general, well, tell me about your plan. And I feel like over the last couple of weeks, when I've gone right into my normal routine, the outcome hasn't been as good, as desirable as I would like it to be. So I'll push back on them and I'll say, well, what specific questions do you have? Because if they wanted to sign up, they would call in and they would just ask to sign up. I mean, we get those calls all the time, right? People call, they're like, hey, I want to sign up on your plan. I'm like, yes. This is easy, right? I'm just typing for you. It's easy. So if they call and they say, tell me about your plan, what is the question behind that? There's a question there. So I'm going to ask them, okay, well, what questions do you have? And if they're not real specific, I hear Bryant do this all the time, and it's something that I need to start doing more. I ask them questions that set up for me to come after their response and tell them specific aspects about the plan that I want to get to anyway. So an example of that would be, are you needing to go to the dentist right away? Well, yes. Our plan's immediate. Sign up 3 or 4 minutes, I'll give you an idea over the phone, you can go. So I think those are the two kind of basic approaches that I take. Trying to get them asking questions in a way that brings them back to specifics of the plan, that shows them this is a good idea. You need to buy this. You need to sign up for it.
So you'd say that's the main question you ask is, what questions do you have?
Yeah, what questions? Especially if they're not specific, I'm going to ask, what questions do you have, and go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you talk to people and they are on the website, if they are on the website,
Mhm.
what pages are they focused on mostly?
That's a good question, Ray. I think majority of the time they're on the plans page with the sample schedule. If they're not there, they're usually on the Find a Dentist page, and they've called because they can't find their doctor. Or they're looking for a specialist and they have no idea how to operate the little search box to find that. But I think typically, in that order, it would be the plans page with the sample schedule, they're looking at the cost breakdown, they're on the Find a Dentist tab, or they're on the initial, when you click plans and they have all 3, well, they think, well, I just wanted Aetna, or I just wanted Carrington, and they see all 3, and it's like, whoa, okay, I got a call, because I thought this was just one. And I need specifics about what's going on here.
do you guide them through clicking the website, or how do you approach it if they're
Yeah.
on the website with you?
Yeah, it really depends. If they're looking for something specific, like the sample schedule, yeah, I'll help them. I'll go to the top of the page. There are the tabs, but I don't do that and then just kind of leave the conversation hanging. I'll go into asking the questions or go into telling them about other things of the plan. Did you see this on the website? Did you see this? To just try to figure out, okay, where are you in this process of the sales conversation? Because before I didn't do that. I thought, well, if I just answer their question, that's it, right?
So you become a search engine.
Right. Yeah. Right. If they wanted to ask another question, they would, right? And I noticed a lot of people would call in. They had one question about the website, and then they would hang up. Wait a minute. I want to know where you are in this process of signing up on the plan, or if you're a member. If you're a member, then this is a totally different conversation. So.
Oh, wow. So let me throw this at you, see what you think. So if we have specific web pages that have content very targeted on certain ideas or certain things very specific with a different phone number on it, would that be helpful to the salespeople if they call that phone number on a web page that's target for certain things? So you can have an early alert that they are looking at this page, so that's why they use that phone number. Would that be a help, or is that going to be another thing put on your plate?
I don't necessarily personally think it would be too much, but the question, I guess, would be how would you do that on the site to where, okay, this person, say they're on the plans page, and so if they have a question about the pricing or whatnot, they see this phone number at the top. So they're there.
Right.
And they're looking, but then they're like, well, what about my dentist? Is my dentist on this plan? And they're going to call that number, not the other number
Right.
that they need to be calling for whatever question they have. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like how would you? I guess how would you funnel people in that direction? Because you can't. Their thoughts is what is driving them, not the website. And so I just don't know how that would work out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good feedback.
Do you find that people have seen the pricing schedule more often than not, or that do you have an impression as to how many people have actually seen more than the 6 prices on the sample fee schedule?
Oh man, Brian, I think the majority of people, that's all they see, is the 6 different, 7, 8 different prices, because I think that's where a lot of confusion happens between either us talking with them or them calling one of the dentists, because they'll ask for the price for root canal, and I don't know if it's just the dentist default to a molar, and they give them a price that's 2 times as much as what we have listed on the site, and that either pushes them away or they call us and they're like, "You're a scam. What's going on?" And so there's just not an understanding that that's why it says sample. This is not exhaustive. It's just a few that we cover. If you want to see everything, you've got to click this other tab. There's just not, and understandably so. I had no idea how those things work. I remember the day that Jeff showed me all the ADA codes. Like, please don't tell me I have to memorize this. I might quit now. I just don't. I don't know how that would work. So there's not typically. I would say 80. And that may be a lot, but I would say 80%